Welcome, 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 everyone. I believe that we are live. Thank you so much for joining. Just give me a second here because I want to verify that I actually am live. I'm gonna have to get someone to help me prove my paranoia or disprove my paranoia. I'm always worried that I'm going to go live and then I'm going to spend half an hour talking and then there's not going to be any volume at all. Let's see here. Live. And I should be able to hear myself. I'm hoping. Through here, I guess I need to be actually talking for me to be able to see. Yep, well, I can hear myself. Perfect. So we are live. Perfect. Excellent. So happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. And I guess what should we talk about today, or how should I tackle the themes of today? So I spent a lot of time over the weekend and actually over the past week just kind of really thinking about what it is that I want to do, not only for Piixel, but what I want to do for me in terms of how I want, my job or my work to go. And I've been thinking a lot about, what direction I've been taking Piixel and like the whole creative studio. And there's been something that's been nagging at me that just wasn't quite right. And I couldn't quite, and maybe I still can't quite put a finger on it. So I've been doing some exploration over the past week and really a lot over the weekend. And I think I found out some of the reasons as to why I was having issues. And we're just going to explore those today with you. And then I'd love to hear what you guys think about this and if there's anything that you've been struggling with in terms of finding something that brings you fulfillment and purpose and joy and happiness, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff in terms of what you're doing for your job or your career. And I think a lot of people don't even have the opportunity to be able to do that because they're just working a job because they just have to pay the bills, right? And I think there's that fine line between how you just need to have money to survive, almost pretty much no matter where you are, versus, well, this is what I love doing, and how the hell can I make those things, link together? And I guess I think in terms of my situation, I've been doing I've started this company in September, and like I said, it's been going fairly well since September. My total revenue, I think now, in what's kind of in the bank and then what's kind of due is I think it's around 50 or 55K, which is pretty good. Again, September, October, November, December, January, February. That's 6 months, right? So extrapolate that to a year. So maybe should be like a six-figure. Well, not income or salary, but six-figure generating for the company, which is really good. But the longer that I was actually creating the website, maybe I'll put this up here because maybe this will help me kind of articulate what it is that I'm feeling. And we're gonna go to here. Yeah, so let's bring this up and let's zoom this in a little bit. So I'm gonna share my screen here. So as you know, you've been following along, I've been doing a lot of content, a lot of content preparation on this website. And specifically when I get down to here, so a big part of this is making me feel a little bit uneasy in the sense that, web design, application development, that's fine. But then when I get down to like brand strategy and visual identity, I know that these things are not really, I don't really enjoy doing them, to be honest. I have done them and I think I'm good at it, but it's really not something that I like to do, to be honest, like on a day-to-day basis. Like every once in a while it's fine, but it's not my, this is when I wake up in the morning and I want to talk about branding. I mean, some people love it, right? They're like, I want to wake up and I want to figure out how to write speeches, or I want to know how to make posters and do some awesome stuff with typography, or doing some logo design or what have you, right? It's just not something that's for me. So I've been going around and thinking about all the different things that like I want to offer for a creative studio, and I'm just like half the stuff here is stuff that doesn't really resonate with things that I want to do, at least, you know, as an individual, right? If my company did that as a whole, and then I had other people that could work on those aspects and I could work on the whole overarching thing, then that's one thing. But the fact that it's just me right now, and I know it's going to be just me until I can consistently know that I can bring in like at least 10K in just 10K in revenue. That's where until I can bring at least 10 to 15K in revenue, I'm not going to be able to hire somebody else. So because this service industry, or this Piixel, like it's a service-based industry or company, and I have to trade in my time for money. And do I want to trade in the time doing a lot of things that I don't like to do for money? You know, if I have a client that rolls in the door, yeah, sure, maybe they'll toss me $100,000, you know, fantastic. But if half the time I'm spending doing things that I don't enjoy doing, and, you know, $100,000, you know, that could be a contract that, you know, that project could last like 4 or 5 months. And if it's going to last that long and I'm doing a bunch of stuff that makes me unhappy, well, that's not really a recipe for long-term, no more for long-term happiness and then long-term growth. Because as you're doing work, I've experienced this before. If you're doing work and you're really not passionate or not happy about the work, your mood can start to suffer, and you can start to feel it as time goes on, that like something's just not quite right. And the longer you do it and the longer that thing nags at you, then, you know, the quality of work is going to go down. Your I don't know if motivation is the right word, but you're going to have a lack of motivation to actually do the work done. So procrastination might start creeping in, and then it becomes even less of a willpower thing, or just a thing of like your mind and your body is just kind of so drained from doing something that you really don't enjoy doing, that you kind of, I don't know, maybe you burn out or what have you. I have never heard of anybody burn out really for doing something that they truly don't see as work, you know, where it's something that they just really, really have so much enjoyment and fulfillment doing that they burn out, right? Like I don't hear of that. So yeah, I don't know where the point of that rambling. Oh yeah. So keeping all that in mind, it kind of became clear to me that like, okay, I need to figure out exactly what Piixel needs to be in order for me to make sure that, number one, I'm doing work that I love doing, and number two, that it's really providing, you know, value for people. And of course, number three is that I actually, you know, can get paid for it, right? So those things are all really, really important. So that's what I was thinking. And then, so it's something that I've done probably throughout my career, is that I know that, that's a comment from Jay. Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. How are you doing today? So what I've been thinking for a long time, or what I've been doing for a long time, is that throughout my career, I've been really good at web design, web development, all that kind of stuff. And it's something that I've been able to get paid for. And it's something that I've liked doing. But it's never been something that I guess, there's always been something missing. Like I had those three pieces, but there's always been something missing. And I kind of was working on this, this weekend, and I came across something that was pretty interesting. Just another comment here. Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. Much appreciated. Let me know how you doing. Let me know if there's anything that you're struggling with your job or career or what have you, trying to find purpose. So what I was saying is, over this weekend, I came across this thing. It's called the Ikigai, and I guess it's like a Japanese philosophy, I guess, about finding purpose. And I just want to go over this real quick because this was kind of really an eye-opening thing for me that I found. Yeah, going all good, Jay? Perfect. That's awesome. Good to hear. And for me, yeah, I'm doing really good. Trying to figure out, you know, the purpose in life and the purpose in the business and what it is that I want to do. Yeah, you know what? I was going to get into this, and that was the exact one of the videos that I watched over the weekend was one of his videos. I think it was like an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever, and he was doing this workshop with people, and he was going over like finding out, like filling out kind of the 4 columns. Yeah, exactly. One of the things and the things that I did, and actually I'm going to go over it now in a couple of minutes. But yeah, highly Christo, that guy is like phenomenal. He's such an inspiration. He does such amazing work. So, okay, so this whole thing, yeah, it's all about finding your reason for being, and I think that was the big thing that was missing for me is what is it that I was doing that was not only that I love doing, not only was I good at, but it was also providing kind of value to the world and mixing all these things. Well, I'll just let me scroll down to it here. So what I love, there's this diagram right here. So this diagram really kind of hit home to me over this weekend. So what you do is you kind of mix these there's these 4 little topics: the stuff that you love to do, and the stuff that you're really good at, the stuff that you can get paid for, and then you put in this thing, which is something that I never really kind of thought of, is stuff that the world needs. And there's kind of the stuff right here in the middle. And if you can kind of take the 4 pieces of that and you can align everything right in the middle, that's your ikigai. And that's like, if you can figure out your little niche in there, like basically you kind of have that whole fulfillment that every day you kind of wake out of bed and it's like, I know exactly what I need to do. I know what I'm going to do. I know what my purpose is, and you enjoy doing it, and it just brings you fulfillment. And that is always something that I've been missing and I've been trying to figure out. And this, coming across this over the weekend, I was like, yeah, that actually puts everything into perspective. Like that's exactly what I'm looking for. What that is right now, that's what I'm still trying to work at. And I'm gonna just go here and just kind of talk about it and see if it makes sense to me. Because I think one thing I always think about is that when you're talking about something, it really helps you clarify things. And if I can communicate it, then I think it makes sense to me, if that makes sense. I see a couple comments here. There's a book. Do you know what book it is? I've seen a few different books, but I'm not sure exactly which one you might be referring to. So let me know, and I'll probably just buy it because I need to read up as much as I can on this stuff because it's really, really cool. Another comment here from Jay. I think we're on 3, but the world needs it. It's something missing. Yeah, I think what you mean is I don't know. Do you mean like those 3 different topics or those 4 different things in the diagram? Like the 3 is kind of like the Venn diagram, but then this one brings upon like this fourth topic, which I guess is like this, what the world needs here. So yeah, so this is really cool. And one thing too that I want to mention, which I thought was really, really cool, and I never really thought about this, is when you kind of break this down a little bit more, you kind of have these buckets here, and where a couple of these circles overlap, it's kind of where like this is where your passion and your profession, your vocation and your mission kind of meet, which I thought was a really cool way of looking at things. Because if you're doing something that you love and something that you're good at, then that becomes like your passion. Like for me, like I love playing badminton and I'm pretty good at badminton. I play pretty competitively, and that's like a passion of mine. But like nobody's going to pay me money to play badminton, unless you get to the upper echelons of like a professional, right? Which is, again, being really good at badminton and getting paid for it, then that would be your profession, right? So I think what I found in my career doing like freelance web design or what have you, or even just working at different companies, doing basically everything involved with web design, creative, just creative services, all that kind of stuff. It's some of the stuff was stuff that I loved. Most of the stuff was stuff that I was good at. And then I got paid for, and stuff that I got paid for. But then this little thing here, I think what the world needs is like, I think it's thinking about how you can take all the stuff that you're good at, the things that you do, and then how could you put it out into the world so that you can provide value and you can help other people. I think, what's the guy? He does smart passive income. His name is Pat Flynn. Great guy, has like amazing content, and he's done obviously super amazing for himself. So much to learn from that guy. But the way he talks and frames about all the stuff he does, he talks about, I just want to serve people. Like everything that I do is about service. It's like, how can I help other people, achieve their goals and achieve their passions and all that kind of stuff. And I think that is a fantastic way to look at it. And I think that kind of puts this thing into light. Like, it makes sense to me when you think about things that way. So find out what you love to do. What are you good at? What can you get paid for? And even what you can get paid for, I don't even think that you need to worry about that so much, because if you're doing something that you love and you're really good at it, and then it provides value to the world, like, the money's going to flow. And like all these people that I know that have successful businesses, do really great work, like Christo, like Pat Flynn, these guys, I mean, like, the money, it will just flow because you're just providing so much value. So I think that's really fantastic. So what's the book name here? Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to Long and Happy Life. Yes, definitely want to read that. Thank you for putting that in there. I will. Yeah, I'm going to buy it. That's just no question. Have to get that. And another comment here, Jay, just like in creative software, just like the world needs. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, yeah, we're going to kind of get to that, because that is something that I think the direction that I'm heading into, and the money will flow. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you think about too, like, how do you purchase something? Like, if there's something that you want to buy, like, it's going, it's going to be something that needs to bring you value, right? And if it's going to bring you value and you think that the price is reasonable, you're going to pay for it, and you're going to be happy to pay for it. You're going to feel like you got, ripped off or what have you, right? So let's, I think what I'll do, just again to help me out here in my thought process, I'm going to bust out my tablet here. And this is, okay, I got to figure out my tools here. All right. So forgive me as I try to draw this here. Is that big enough? That looks pretty good. I could make that a little bit bigger. That looks pretty good. Actually, I don't want green. Okay. So here, oh, this is brutal. I was looking at those tablets that they have where you can actually see the screen. So it's like you're drawing. I guess it would be like pretty much like a tablet. So you can actually see what you're doing. Like using these things, I have this like tablet thing, and I find it really hard to use. It's very, very difficult to coordinate because you're looking at the screen, but you're drawing like on the desktop. So question here, have you designed your websites UI in Figma or directly on Webflow? So I used to, back in the day when I first started doing websites, I used to do a lot by hand. I used to sketch, but then I got into using Photoshop, and I was using Photoshop for like almost a decade. And then I switched to Figma, and I've done some stuff in Figma. I'm not that versed in Figma because I only started using it maybe a year and a half ago, and it's very good. But honestly, for the most part, I just jump right into Webflow because because I know like the HTML and CSS so well that I can it's almost easier for me to just go ahead and develop it first rather than try to design it in Figma and then just recopy it over into Webflow. So that's just what it's always been for me. For me now, it's pretty much, I have something in my head, I sketch it on pen and paper, I draw it, I know exactly what I want it to look like, and then I just jump into Webflow. I could see, obviously, people that are just specifically designers, they do things in Figma, they're really fast and really good at that, that's fantastic, and then they just give it to developers to put it into whatever application. But for me, I like to go, for the most part, pen and paper, and then directly into Webflow. Yeah, Jay, yeah, like I hear what you're saying, and absolutely, depending on like what the flow is and what the process is, if you're doing the whole thing all by yourself and everything is in your mind, then like, again, for me, I don't mind skipping Figma if it makes sense for me, especially if it's nothing too complex in the design. But if there's other people in the pipeline or whatever that are, you're going to be handing it off to, then yeah, doing things in Figma. And yeah, especially if you're working with clients where they want to, put in their feedback or what have you. Like I'll put things into something like InVision app or Marvel app. Is it InVision app? Yeah, I think it's InVision app. And then you could put in or is it InVision software? Anyways, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just a thing where you can put in your designs and then people can actually comment on them or whatever. Then you could iterate a lot quicker in that than like say maybe going in Webflow and then exporting or whatever. So yeah. Yes, I heard of a new plugin. It just kind of came up of like, hey, some of my feeds or whatever things that I'm following. Hey, there's new Figma to Webflow. So I haven't looked into it. Have you used it? Is it good? Yeah, I'm interested to know how it works. Yeah, right on. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Let me get my... Okay, so I think, what is this? This is stuff here that you love to do. And this is stuff that you're good at. And this is stuff where you can get paid to do. And this is like what the world needs. So I think for me, I'm just going to go through the list of some of the things that I found. I have this little Excel sheet here. Actually, instead of drawing it out like this, maybe what I'll do is I'll just bring in the sheet here. So, geez, let me zoom in there. So this is what I came up for my list. And it was actually a lot longer than this, but I kind of stuck it at 12. Again, going by what Chris Do was doing. It's like he was doing 12 and he was like getting people to like just pick some random ones and then kind of put things together. So what's going on here in the comments here? Almost like you're copying and pasting the plugin. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what it is going to do with the classes. Just copy and paste. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's an interesting comment, Jay, in terms of what they're going to do with classes. And I guess I think there is a way, like maybe it takes the classes from the actual names that you name, the elements or the layers within your Figma. I'm not sure. I wonder, it should be interesting. Okay, so here's a list of the things that I love doing. And I kind of took maybe like the top 12 things that I know that I really love. So playing musical instruments, like I love music. I've been playing guitar probably since high school. I played so much in high school. That thing went with me everywhere. And music is probably like my most favorite thing in the world to do ever. And yeah, and I just love it. So playing music, learning about music is just like any other instrument. Like I love it. Photography and videography. I love going out, taking my camera, taking photos. I love making videos. Obviously I'm doing like live streaming here. I think I put live streaming. I've actually just started live streaming. This is episode number 26. And yeah, I don't know. This is just a blast. It's just a lot of fun. Podcasting. I love doing podcasting. Part of it because I love the whole technology of it, even like setting up cameras and editing it and doing all that kind of stuff. But actually just talking and interacting with people is just so much fun. And it's just all about kind of learning new things. Interacting with people, that's just so much fun. Playing poker. I used to play poker all the time. In fact, at one point, this was way back in the day when I think right after Chris Moneymaker won the World Series of poker, me and some buddies, we just got really into poker, playing online like all the time, and Ultimate Bet and all these other websites, Poker Stars too as well. And I did pretty well. Like overall, I have a positive gain, like probably like maybe 10,000 or so. But this is pretty stressful, and you got all this money, you could win and lose and whatever. And I don't know, I just never end up going anywhere. But I just still enjoy it. I love playing board games. Board games are just so much fun. Being outdoors, out in nature, I love doing that. Who doesn't love camping? Well, actually, a lot of people don't love camping. learning new skills, and then learning about business. Learning about business is so fascinating over the past 6 months since I've just decided to make this leap. Just and talking to other business owners and just trying to figure out how things work and how to do things. It's been a whole lot of fun, and I just love doing it. And figure out some way to get paid for doing that. That would be amazing. So comment here. Do I take help of AI for building this business? Do you mean as in if I'm going to use AI to help me in figuring out what is that I'm going to do or what it is that I will do? And do you mean something, or do you mean something like using something like ChatGPT to help like make code and all that kind of stuff? Because it's been pretty fantastic for code. I haven't done too much of that. I've used it a little bit, but I don't have any thoughts myself in terms of how to incorporate AI into this at this point in time. So those are things that I love to do. And here are the things that I'm good at. Web design development. Again, I've been doing that for over a decade, so I think I'm pretty good at that. I think I'm pretty good at editing videos, good at badminton, doing technical support and explaining technology. Pretty much every job that I've had, I always end up in some kind of like unofficial tech support kind of position or sometimes official. So just helping people out solve their computer problems and what have you. That's always fun. And then just teaching in general, actually, when I was back in my academic career, I guess you can say, when I was a grad student and working at the university, teaching various classes, I really enjoyed that. I loved teaching people. It was a whole lot of fun. And being able, when you're teaching students or just anybody, whatever, and they have that aha moment in their mind and you kind of see things like light up, that's like an incredible feeling. And that's really, really cool. And then I just get to interact with people as well too, which is always a lot of fun. What else do I say? Staying true to my values. I think I'm good at, knowing the things that are important to me and trying to stick with them, like doing whatever I can to stick with them and not, I guess bending, or trying to incorporate things that aren't part of me and what makes me me. And I will say, I did ask my wife a question to ask what she thought I was good at, and that's one of the things that she said about me. And she said that I'm really good at making people feel competent, which I think maybe that goes to teaching. So I think there's times when I am teaching that I think I do a pretty good job at making people feel encouraged and that they can do things, and when they end up getting it, they feel really good and they feel really happy. So I think that's fair. Mental toughness, I think that makes sense. I've had a lot of stuff thrown my way about people being not so nice to me or what have you. You know what, you just say, I don't really care what you think. I know who I am. I know what I want to do, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. Doesn't matter what other people think. A few other things, creating videos, doing photography. Photography is last on the list because I don't think, like, I'm better than, I guess, an average person that doesn't do photography at all. But I think I'm okay. I think I'm good. So then I put into this stuff here, what the world needs. So living a healthy lifestyle, I think that's super, super important, and something that I've been up and down with. If you've seen any of my other videos, that I've been struggling with that for a long, long time. But I think it's super, super critical that we need to be healthy and lifting people out of poverty. I think that's a huge thing. I think that's something that people really, I think we really need to focus on, because I think just being in poverty, like when you're poor, you don't have time to worry about anything else. Like, oh, there's problems with the government, or there's problems with climate, or there's problems with whatever it is. It doesn't matter. All you're doing is you're just worrying about how you're going to feed, yourself or your family or whatever, or where you're going to live and sleep. Once you can lift people out of poverty, then you can start tackling other issues that are more important. So I think that's a really important topic and something that the world needs. Personal connection. A lot of people, getting off your phones or whatever and having connections with our fellow human beings. I think that's really, really important. And I think that that's something that's missing a lot. And I think you're seeing that kind of play out and how divided it seems that people are, at least here in Canada anyways. I think a lot of that has to do with not reaching out and having conversations with each other. Financial freedom, of course, I talk about that a lot. I think that's really important. That's part of lifting people out of poverty, but it's also about not only just being not out of poverty, but having enough money so that you never really have to worry about anything, right? You could just do whatever it is that you want, and then you can kind of go ahead and try to find the things that that make you happy in life, right? I think government accountability is important. We need to be able to know what the government is doing, and how, for us, me here in Canada, like how the government is spending our tax dollars. I think they need to be accountable to that. I think that's important. Honesty is super important. We need to be able to be honest with each other and find honesty. Whether that's online or companies that are doing business, or people that are selling you a product, you want it to be honest. I think that's really, really important. We need to be compassionate and understanding of one another. Practical education. We need to be able to find ways to educate people in ways that make sense. I went to university, and I was in university for 8 years or so, getting into debt, probably $100,000, not very practical. And was the information useful? Yeah, it was okay. But what is that quote in Good Will Hunting? It's like you wasted $150,000 for an education you could have got for like $1.50 in library fees or something like that. So I think there's something to that. But anyways, I don't want to get too much into that, whether you should go to university or not. That's a whole nother topic. Self-awareness. It's important for people to be self-aware of who they are and what it is that they're capable of, and being able to understand that so you can know exactly what you need to do to improve yourself in order to, get better at things and provide other value to the world for you as an individual. Accountability, and a lot of these things are pretty similar, like government accountability, personal accountability. And people need to have a sense of purpose, and people need personal freedoms as well to be able to do what it is that they want to do, so they can find out what works for them. And again, that sense of purpose is people need to know what. I don't know. They just need to be able to wake up in the morning and feel good. And again, that's the trouble I have. So anyways, all of that being said, so how did I put all of this stuff together? What would be a good way to show this? Maybe what I can do is, I'll just talk about, I got a billion window things open here. So what I'll do, I'll close that because that doesn't make any sense. Showing that right now. So what I ended up doing and thinking about was things that I really love doing. So I love interacting with people. It is just something that's super important with me. I love doing photography. I love doing videography, and I love business. And it's not on my list here, but I do love the process of making websites. So that's stuff that I really love to do. And the things that I'm good at, of course, web design is there. Making videos is something I love to do. And teaching is what I love to do. So those are things that I kind of put together in that ball. And then the thing that really hit home is the what the world needs. And there's part of it is the lifting people out of poverty part of it. And there's the part about education and being able to educate people. And there's also the part about personal connection. So I was thinking of how could I use my skills to help people make these personal connections? And basically what I came up with was, instead of focusing Piixel Media on creating just generic websites for anybody who wants a website or an application, it's I serve every people. It's I want to niche down, and what if I could make websites, not specifically just websites, but membership websites that'll allow people to create communities where they can use the knowledge that they have and teach other people to do whatever it is that they're doing within their basically niche space or their membership space. So basically what I came up with, I'll just show this right here of what I have. Oh, that's not going to be the right screen. This right here. So I came up with this idea of really focusing down on helping people create membership websites. And I was thinking about that basically all weekend. I came to this. I'm this actually really makes a lot of sense to me, because it still keeps into the stuff that I'm really good at, which is creating websites and building applications. And it also really fits with this idea of being able to help other people take the information that they know to put that out there into the world, and for them even to be able to make a living out of it as well too. And at the same time, helping people on what it is that they want, and to be able to connect people with, like-minded people within their own community. I don't know. It just really, really rang true to me. So I'm really I don't know, like in terms of marketing and whatever, I'm not sure exactly if this is like the best way to go about it, but this whole idea of building membership websites and strictly membership websites is super, super appealing to me. Now, on the business aspect, there are lots of places right now where you can just go and create your own like membership site. Like they have, what is it? Like there's like Circle, like there's Teachable. There's all kinds of things already that is basically like a software where you can go ahead and create a membership site. So that's all well and good. But I think, that's something that I could do in the future where I could just build software that helps people make membership websites. So that's part of it. But I think for now, what I'm thinking is to focus on people that want to build a community, but don't necessarily want to just plug and play into something that's more template. Like they want to have their own branded experience. They want to have their own unique, they want to bring their own unique vision to their website, to their community, and be able to build it in a way that's completely custom to them. So it's almost like maybe like a bespoke, membership building company. But anyways, let me know what you think. Is this something that's completely stupid, or something that, maybe this could work? Maybe this is something that's good. So I don't know. It seems to make sense for me. But this is what I'm going. So I've just been throwing some stuff on here. Not really worrying about design elements here just quite yet. But here's some thoughts that I've kind of put together is stand out from the crowd. Our mission is to build amazing membership websites that help people make a living by serving a community of like-minded individuals. Like that's what we want to do. And kind of 6 different kind of themes or whatever, different services or whatever that is, or features, I guess you can say, that we provide. So a branded experience, the fact that there's no templates. So this is they're kind of very similar in the sense that whatever it is that you want, we'll work with you to understand your needs, understand your community, understand what it is that you want to do. And then we will build the site in accordance to what it is that you want. And whether you already have an existing brand or you want to, us to help work with you to create something new, that's what we'll do. And of course, there's gated content depending on the type of memberships that you want to have. What is daily, monthly, yearly, one-time payments, whatever. It's customizable, and that goes on to the flexible memberships. And then of course, it's safe and secure. So everything will be rendered server side. So whenever, because there's something like I've used MemberStack before. I love the stuff that those guys are doing. It's really, really cool. But the problem with MemberStack is that everything is blocked using JavaScript. So if you have with a little bit of JavaScript wizardry, you can figure out how to get access to that information. That's gated, right? Because it actually is served up, but then once it's served up, then JavaScript kind of hides it, right? So this we want to do it to make sure that everything is much more secure. And then of course to offer a bunch of training and support with the with our suite of products or whatever, or with not a suite of product, but with what we do, right? So it's not like, okay, go ahead, here's your sorry, I'm seeing myself kind of in 2 screens here. It's not like, oh, here's your website or whatever, go nuts. It's like, no, this is like a partnership. So it's all about working together to help them, create a community. And I think there's 2 things, because there's 2 community. Well, there's one community that I want to get on to building. And part of it, I think, is honestly what I'm doing here is having these videos, is kind of creating a community of people that are trying to figure out how to create their own company and their own business and how to make it successful. And it's like any kind of company. Not like I'm not saying like I don't want to be like, oh, this is how you create like a web design company or whatever, just because that's stuff that I know. It's like, no, it's just how do you create a company in general. So that's part of like a community that I'd love to build. So I'm like, I know for me, like I'm trying to reach out to as many like local entrepreneurs that I can here where I live in Halifax, and then, just basically kind of create a community around that, and that we can help each other. We get together, we can talk about the problems that we have, talk about what's going on and how we could, work towards, solving our problems or whatever. Right. So just being together with like-minded people, it's just so much better. And one person I know, like Mr. Beast, I'm sure most of you have heard of this guy, the most successful YouTuber to date so far. And he says some stuff, like when he talks about how he got really successful, it's really fascinating because he talks about him and like, I think it was like 4 other buddies that they would get together every single day. And what they would do they'd go on like a Skype call or whatever. And for the whole day, like literally from morning till night, they would just talk about what worked for them, what didn't work, how to tweak things, how are they going to like figure out, how to make their thumbnails, just like anything to do about YouTube. They all talked together, and then they would kind of get together and just kind of brainstorm. And I think the idea behind that is like, you could do it all on your own, sure. But if you have 4 or 5 other people doing it, you're all learning from each other. You're all failing, like learning from other people's failures or whatever, and mistakes. And then you're growing that much faster. So by being able to build that type of community, it's just super, super beneficial. So if there's a bunch of people that are trying to figure out how to make a business, well, let's all try to make a business together. Not necessarily making the same business. We're all working on our own individual thing, but hey, let's try to do this. So that's like the community that I want to build. And there's also another thing of just music. I don't know exactly how to make a community out of playing music and learning music, but it's something that I've just been thinking about. But yeah, I guess I don't really have too much to say about that, except for the fact that I know, like, because I love music and just thinking about that, music is so much of a passion for me. And like you can see behind there's a piano there and the guitars out there. But I don't play every day. And it's like, why don't I play every day? I mean, I love doing this. Why am I not doing this? Is anybody going to pay me money to do this? No. But if there's a way we can create some kind of community around this and maybe we can help each other, maybe there's something in the future down the line that it could be like, hey, you know what? Like just, spitballing here. Like imagine I get really good at playing piano. And then it's like, oh, well, you know what? This really actually helped me to get really good. And then I create some kind of like flow chart of keys and notes and, and scales and, here's kind of a chord chart or diagram, whatever. And that's something that you can provide to community members, right? So anyways, I do know of a few people that are thinking about trying to build a website that does have memberships or that does have subscriptions. And, I think, I don't know. I think this could be something that could work. Maybe not. I could be completely wrong. And maybe people are just like, you know what? I'm just gonna put up a ghost website, or, I'm just going to go on to Wix, or, I just want to put my stuff on Teachable, and then I'm just going to go do my thing. And that could very well be a thing. So there might not even be a market for this. So this is where there's things that I'm going to have to figure out in terms of marketing as how I could market this thing to actually help me, I guess figure out if there's a market for this, right? I know that's market analysis, and that's something that I know that for me, like I'm not good at, and that's something that it's so important in business. You need to be able to know if there's a market for your for your product, right? So, anyways, so that's my thoughts of this whole pivoting thing, because again, I don't think that for me going forward, I don't want to just be like your generic, and not that there's anything wrong with it by any means, like a generic creative services company, hey, we do websites for anybody, right? I find that very difficult to advertise, but I could be wrong. So I could be convinced of, hey, you know what? You just have that generic, we do anything website. And then from there, then if you want to specialize later on, or you want to go in other directions, You can kind of push towards that once you start getting more clients and more money. That could be a way to go. But for me right now, it seems that, yeah, I don't know. It's quite interesting, but this is what I think I'm gonna pivot to, and from there we're going to see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. Yeah, I mean, if I do this for 2 months and then I don't get anybody, nobody comes through the door, and I figure out even how to market this thing, then maybe it's time to rethink this whole thing. But the idea that if somebody wants to build a community and they want something a little bit different than, throwing up like a ghost template or something like that, then hopefully this would work. And one thing that I want to build into this in the future, and maybe this is something that I could start incorporating right now, is doing things that incorporate video and photo production. So for example, if somebody wanted to make a podcast and then they want to have a community around that, right? Whether it was gated, it could be, a lot of people do paid podcasts, right? So if they wanted to up their production value or what have you, then they can come to Piixel and then we could record all those podcasts for them. Give them, a nice 3-camera angle podcast and even do the whole audio and everything, like get some nice microphones and everything. So that could be an extra service that we can offer to help people, like tools and products and services. Tools and products and services. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. To help people take their community, to the next level, right? So it's one thing to sell digital products, but what if you're not really good at designing them in InDesign or whatever? That's something that we can do as well too, right? So it takes the things that I've done and that I am good at and packages them in a way where it helps people, right? Like achieve their goals and their visions. And that vision is for membership websites, not just random websites. Because helping somebody that wants to do something that provides a good for other people, to me, that feels a little bit better than, I don't know, if, somebody comes up and says, I just want a website to talk about my cupcake factory, which, I mean, I don't know, it's fine. But for whatever reason, I don't know if that frame of mind is just makes me think of it a little bit differently, I guess. I don't know, but we'll see. Let me know what you think. I'm really interested to hearing what people think about this and whether I'm completely overthinking things where I should just be like, you know what? Do the website that, or do the creative service that just makes websites or whatever. Who cares what it's for? You need to put food on the table, which is true. I do need to put food on the table. And then on the side, you worry about maybe really specializing and niching into something like this as people know more and more about who you are and what it is that you do. So I could see that as well too. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's what, I think I'll leave it at that. So yeah, we'll see. Does that clarify things for me after talking about it? I don't know. I'm not sure. And am I trying to talk myself out of it in terms of saying like, oh yeah, no, focus on doing the creative services work and then you could, niche down. But the thing is too, is again, I know like there's some stuff that I'm doing now for clients where, it's fine. And it helps me put some food on the table, but it also takes away my time to be able to really focus on the things that I know that I want to do. So, yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. Anyways, so seeing in this design here. So I've been going through this design. So I went over this real quick over the weekend and put this through. And I'm definitely trying to think about the colors for the yellow and the pink. And what I've done here is I have this idea here of, so this is just a video. So this is interesting. So this is a video that I made for a client. And I basically make a bunch of videos for my clients whenever I want to explain something to them. So instead of having meetings or what have you, I just make a video of stuff that I would just tell them in the meetings anyways. And then I just send them the link here. So I use Vimeo for that because it's totally private. I don't have to worry about YouTube, people seeing it on YouTube or whatever. I guess you could do something private, but I love Vimeo because you can have different options for how you could thin down the player. And I just like get rid of as much stuff as I possibly can. And you could change the colors as well too. So I think this color here, if I click on this, it won't actually play. I just hover over this. This is yellow, right? So it's just my yellow color. So I love Vimeo. Anyways, the idea behind here is to have a video playing, not this video, obviously, because this is for a client, but just to have a video that explains what it is that we can do for people that are looking to create their own membership community, right? So, because there's words here, but then I guess having a video, I think that would be helpful. And whether that's here or whether there's a button here that says, watch a video, and then you just click it and then it just pops up. I'm not sure exactly how to design it. Because as I said, this was just something I just whipped up really quick here. And I wanted to go like dark theme, I guess, on this. Because like every website that I've made is always light, which is fine, I usually prefer having something light, but I'm like something a little bit different than everybody else that's in this space, right? Any membership website that I've gone to so far that I've seen, it's pretty much all a light website on, with dark text or what have you. So by being a dark background with white text, I think that'll help me stick out a little bit more from everyone else. So that's the idea behind this coloring or this color scheme so far anyways. And then just have this information here of just like, hey, this is what we can do. And then I'm going to, right below here, I'm going to put in all of my testimonials for the people that I've worked with. And then just a footer, like super simple, like nothing complex or, just nothing complex here for this website. Something super simple. So going back to here, what I'm good at, web design, web development, and videography, photography. This is all the stuff that I'm good at. And then, of course, I think those are the stuff that I'm good at. Then what I love to do, the teaching aspect, and I love interacting with people. And then what the world needs, I think the world needs a way for people to be able to, understand one another and come together and connect. And that's where the whole membership comes into play. And they need to be able to get access to, information that makes sense to them. Whether it's information or education that is much more accessible, I guess you can say. And for me, that's like education that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, which is what it does for university. And then, of course, what I can get paid for, I guess that's the question of, if I combine all those things, is it going to be something that I'm going to be able to make a living on? Because I do know that if all I did was work with people to help them build their memberships and their communities, that would be the most incredible thing in the world. Like, I would love that so much. It would just, I feel like every day I'd wake up and be like, this is perfect. This is it. And all those other things that I might not be so fond of, if I was working with a client that wanted to create a bunch of, brochures and just PDFs or whatever documents that they would want to sell. We'd want to brand them really nicely and create different layouts or whatever, use InDesign or whatever it is to create those products for them. That would be something that's where you have other staff, or you could delegate all those things, right? You delegate the things that you might not be the most fond of, but at the end of the day, the overall thing of what it is that you're doing, in this case, is helping people build memberships and helping people be able to make money and be able to live off doing the things that they enjoy doing and being able to help people. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So that's what I thought of this weekend, and that's where my brain is at. And that's what, that's what, is that my ikigai? I always don't know if I pronounce that right. Is that my ikigai? I'm not sure, but we'll see if it is. And we'll work towards that. And then, of course, just like anything, you don't be stubborn. And if other things make more sense, then we'll go that way. But for now, that's what we're going to stick with. And I guess tomorrow, what should we do tomorrow? I guess we'll start trying to design this website, because I just want to get it out there. I just want to, there's not going to be any, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a portfolio or anything like that. I just want to get the services that I would offer, what it is that I would do, and that means I'm going to have to film a video for it. But we just want to get that out there so I can start figuring out if this will work in terms of doing some promotions or whatever, or figuring out how to do some marketing or a quick little ad campaign or something like that to figure out if there's going to be a market for this. And then get in touch with people that are running communities and seeing what issues and what problems that they might be having. And we'll go from there. So yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. So anyways, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate your time. So thank you so much for joining. That was awesome. And not much else to say except have yourself a great rest of your day, and hope you keep working on the things that you're working on. Keep working on finding your purpose and your passion, because it's something that is obviously super important, at least passionate to me anyways. I think it's important for people to be able to know that what it is that they're working on is giving them a sense of satisfaction, because that's really, really important for everyone's well-being, mental health, all that jazz, right? Okay, guys, thanks again, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.